Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Season 2 dropped, and in the time since, we have seen a new update go live with new patch notes every single day. I don't anticipate this is going to continue to be a trend, but regardless, yesterday afternoon, Raven and Infinity Ward put out a very important patch note update. We'll go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. Basically going over some additional changes that went live with the season 2 update. However, they were not initially mentioned in the patch notes, and there are some very important gameplay changes and bug fixes and other stuff to break down here. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. The information provided below was originally released to the public with the launch of season 2 on the 15th and has been added to the blog for the interest of continued transparency. Obviously, the more transparent the devs are, the bigger the W, right? So first up here, we got some general bug fixes. They fixed an issue where the countdown timer would display incorrectly when players entered a vehicle in the out of bounds area. There's basically a way you could actually cheese being out of bounds with vehicles. They fixed an issue causing the countdown timer to display incorrectly after the player drives through the out of bounds and restricted area in ground war, then tries to re-enter one of these two areas for the first time after. So just a couple of vehicle updates. Some field upgrade bug fixes. They fixed all of the following: an issue where the deployable cover could not be deployed on surfaces with broken glass shards, oddly specific. An issue causing the inflatable decoy to float in the air when dropped on water surfaces on certain maps. An issue with the decoy destroying itself when activated underwater. An issue with the portable radar reticle not always appearing when activated. An issue causing some players to get stuck when using a recon drone. And then also an issue where you could farm XP with the suppression mine. Again, nothing too crazy, but a handful of additional bug fixes. We also have a ton of different kill streak issues as well. They fixed all the following here: an issue where the care package had a chance of kicking players back to the main menu. An issue causing some kill streak target markers to appear eliminated on enemies in modes that have a revive feature. An issue where players with the Juggernaut active are still able to use kill streaks just on PC, so some weird action going on there. An issue where some players who picked up the dropped Juggernaut minigun would drop it automatically when earning over a weapon they already had in their inventory. An issue allowing players to earn a second nuke in round-based modes. An issue causing the mortar strike marker to return to an incorrect point when targeting through a window. An issue preventing the airstrike markers from being placed on a water surface. An issue allowing vehicles operated by a squad member to drive through a player's sentry gun to hide it from view. An issue allowing players to deploy a sentry gun in prohibited spaces. An issue preventing players from canceling out of deploying a sentry gun when parachuting. So a lot of sentry gun updates. An issue allowing players to deploy a sentry gun in out of bounds areas. Then lastly, an issue with the VTOL ignoring targeted enemies. We then get into the 2.0 gameplay for Warzone here, and they ended up updating some very important things, to say the least. I think that's the best word to go about it. This does give some very interesting updates to gameplay. As we get into these, also quick reminder, if you guys are new to the channel, around 55% of viewers watching are not already subbed, and every day I'm your one-stop shop for all things going on. So if you want to stay up to date with news, updates, class setups, tips, all stuff like that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and join us on the road to 1 million subs. Also, if you guys enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. So first up here with Warzone gameplay changes, the exfil helicopter. This is a cool one. The heavy chopper that you exfil in at the end of the match during the cinematic will now actually use the cosmetic skin of the highest scoring squad member. So that's just like a neat little QOL update to, you know, shout out the winning team a little bit more. I honestly really like that. That's pretty cool. Attachment UI. This is another W. Players will now see attachments for their active loadout weapons highlighted in yellow on the weapon silhouette in the bottom right of your screen. So you can be sure that you're using the right SCAR that's got a muzzle and a barrel and a magazine attachment and a rear grip, and make sure that like you're not using the incorrect setup or something like that. Just another cool quality of life update. Now, these are some of the major changes that I think are going to impact a lot of players. They adjusted the Semtex drill charges and throwing knives. So Semtexes and drill charges will now down a player with maximum armor plates if they stick directly to their body. Prior to this update, if you stuck a player with a Semtex, it would just break their armor. It would not down a player, which is pretty ridiculous for Warzone, right? Like, you stick somebody, you expect to get that knock. Now you're going to. So that's solid. If you stick a player with a Semtex or a drill charge, that's a guaranteed knock. Now, the throwing knives. These will now down a player with maximum armor plates equipped if it hits their head or upper torso. So if you have ridiculous throwing knife aim and you hit the head, the neck, or the upper torso area, that's a one-shot knock. Now let's just put this into the grand scheme of things, right? A throwing knife, one single throwing knife, can one-shot down a player if it hits their upper body. However, a sniper outside of a glitch right now cannot one-shot knock a player regardless of where you hit him. Just an interesting thing to, you know, throw out into the universe. Also, for what it's worth, you might have seen snipers are currently bugged, and I put the quotations there because with this game we don't know if it's a bug or if it's intended, because Raven and Infinity Ward haven't talked about it. But currently, if you put on the incendiary ammo on a sniper, you can get a one-shot kill within like 60 meters or so. So if you want to try and go for some snipe one-shots, you can use that. Keep in mind, using incendiary ammo kills your velocity and makes it really bad for long range. So if you want a one-shot sniper, you're gonna have to play aggressive. But that's a bug right now. We don't know if they're gonna keep it that way or if it's gonna get nerfed. I'm expecting it to get nerfed, but we have to wait and see. Some other updates here though, real quick for DMZ. Solo self-revive. A player can now self-revive if assimilated squad members are downed. Then also combatant threat. AI combatant threat generated by recon and bomb drones are reduced by 85%. So they shouldn't be spawning in massive waves now when you're doing that stuff. A few other bug fixes here before we move on to some of their tweets where we have some additional patch notes. They fixed an issue causing the heartbeat sensor battery to reset after being dropped and picked up again. They also fixed an issue that prevented loadout drops from remaining stable on the train platform. So some very interesting gameplay changes here in general, some important ones, especially for Warzone 2 here, and a handful of bug fixes. You love to see it. So some pretty important patch notes. As mentioned though, we also have some additional ones that Infinity Ward and Raven have posted on their Twitters. So here Infinity Ward says, we just released an update. This was actually last night after those patch notes went out that fixed an issue causing some players to lose their inventory in the final exfil in DMZ. So solid update there. Hopefully you don't have to run into that anymore. Also, some DMZ difficulty fixes. Addressed an issue in DMZ that caused reinforcements to keep appearing, so that's a bot nerf, and addressed an issue that added tier 3 enemies to unintended areas where the enemies were way higher in scale and skill than they should have been for simple tasks. So hopefully this, you know, calms down the bots in DMZ. The bots were going rogue after this update. They heard they were going to get nerfed and said, absolutely not. We're putting in even more training hours. We're going to decimate the opposition. So hopefully the bots are not as annoying now. And then also Raven had previously mentioned in some of their patch notes that we went over, you know, in the past few days, because there's been so many patch note updates here, that they apparently fixed the issue where on Ashika Island, if you revive a teammate, you could get stuck. That wasn't supposed to be happening. After that update went out though, there were still hundreds of reports of players going to revive a teammate and getting stuck and not being able to move. So they actually have reopened this issue. The fix that they had for it clearly did not actually fix it. So they are further investigating the issue for that. And hopefully now in the coming days, when we see the 4th patch note update in 4 days or whatever, they have some fixes for this so we don't have to worry about that, because it's a pretty annoying issue right now. It is rough when you're trying to, you know, have a late game clutch on a teammate, revive them, and then you end up dying because of it, because it kills all your movement and you can't do anything but back out of the game or go down. But with all that being said, those are the new update patch notes, and some important ones to say the least. Some very interesting gameplay changes revealed because of this. That's gonna wrap things up though for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you are up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty. And as always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products, and links for all those can be down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.